Welcome back to Financial Freedom 101. I'm your host, Robert, and this is episode 31. As I was sitting down to write this episode, I was amazed to think that we were already on episode 31. Seems like only yesterday I was writing the outline for our very first episode. Although we did take a break for approximately 8 months, it's just hard to believe that we've been doing podcasts for over 2 years now, with our inaugural episode having been released in August of 2021. In a blink of an eye, we went from celebrating an episode receiving 5 downloads in the first 2, maybe 3 weeks of its release, to getting over 20 downloads or more in just the first 2 or 3 days. So many things have changed during this time, and it's difficult to look back at where we were and where we are now. In fact, that is the very essence of today's podcast, capitalizing on the time you have and not letting it slip by. Too often I hear people ask, where has the time gone? Or, as I've just done, say, it seems like only yesterday that something happened. In fact, this concept that time flies by is so prevalent that there are a number of songs written about it. Whether it's Yesterdays by the Beatles, Time by Pink Floyd, Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapman, or any of a number of other songs, the idea that time passes too quickly is a feeling shared by most. Unfortunately, this feeling is usually accompanied by the feeling of regret. When we look back, it's human nature to think about the opportunities that have passed us by. However, the one thing that most people never do is ask the question, why did that opportunity pass them by? Did it pass you by because you were scared? Or did it pass you by because you thought you didn't have enough time to take advantage of the opportunity? For most, I would venture to say that it's probably a combination of both. While there are tips and tricks to overcome the fear aspect, I'm actually going to be speaking on the more difficult problem during this podcast, the lack of time. How many of us have ever looked at somebody and thought, how on earth are they able to do so much? We both have the same 24 hours in a day and work similar jobs, but while my job takes all of my time, this other person not only works their full-time job, but they also run a side business. They take training at night and so much more. Where are they getting all of this extra time? For many of us, it feels like our entire day is one problem after another, leaving no time to do anything else, even if we strive to maintain that healthy work-life balance. In fact, while writing this episode, I keep thinking to myself, do I really have the time to sit down and write? I have a presentation to prepare for. I need to write a report for my last assignment. I have to plan for my upcoming work travels, annual work training to complete, personal training, homework to do, and so much more. However, regardless of how much I think I have to do, I am here to tell you that finding time in the day to work on your goals and advance your journey to financial freedom is easier than you may think. I'm also willing to bet that if you take a step back and look at what you're doing and how you use your time, you can easily find 2, 3, maybe 4 hours or more that are wasted each day. Have you ever stopped and thought about what you actually do every day? How much time do you spend watching TV or playing video games? How much time do you spend hanging out with your friends, going out to bars or restaurants? While I'm not saying that you shouldn't relax and spend time with your friends or simply vegging out in front of the TV, what I am saying is that the time spent doing these types of activities can quickly add up. Back in episode 2, we spoke about budgeting and how people fall victim to the latte factor all of the time. In case you don't remember, the latte factor is a concept that simply states small amounts of money spent on a regular basis cost us a lot more than we actually realize. You may not think that that daily $9 Starbucks coffee is that much, but if you add it up, you end up spending over $2,300 per year, assuming you only buy it during the normal 5-day work week. The same holds true for watching TV. You may not think that that 2 hours you watch at night after work is a lot, but it adds up to over 43 hours each month, not counting how much time you spend watching TV during the weekends. That's an extra work week worth of TV every single month. Just imagine what you could do with that time. The problem with the latte factor is that most of the small, regular expenses are being incurred without us even realizing it. They are being spent as part of our normal routine, and that is exactly what happens with how we lose so many hours each day. Humans are creatures of habit, and if we do something long enough, it becomes muscle memory. taking no thought at all to accomplish. So what habits do you have that cause you to lose time and prevent you from working towards your goal of financial freedom? To answer this question, we can use the same process we use to create our budget and overcome the latte factor. The first step in creating a budget was to track your expenses over the month and then analyze where your money went. The next step was to break those expenses into fixed, required, and discretionary categories in order to look for ways to save money. Finally, you took this information to create your monthly budget. The process of creating your schedule is no different. First, spend a week or two simply recording your daily activities. Next, analyze your findings to determine which events are fixed, such as work, which events are required, such as meals, and which events are discretionary, such as watching TV. Lastly, take this information and create a basic schedule that can visually show you where your free time is throughout the day. One of the first activities that most of the financial freedom related trainings that we have taken over the last couple of years have had us do was to find and allocate time throughout the week for us to focus on our training and our goals. The training I am currently taking has taken this one step further and provided us with an Excel worksheet that helps us calculate our daily hours, i.e., the time between when I wake up to the time I go to sleep, and assign those hours to specific activities. Simply looking at the worksheet and realizing how many hours during the day I had to work with was eye-opening. I normally wake up at 6:30 and go to sleep at about midnight. Assuming a normal workday of 8 hours, that leaves me with almost 12 hours each workday to fill. Even if I take away the time spent getting ready for work and the time spent at the gym after work, I still have over 6 hours each day to fill. If you are not able to find 2 to 3 hours during that 6-hour period, you're not looking hard enough. Even if you have already tracked your daily routine and know exactly where your hours have gone, many people still struggle to find the extra hours. For some, those 2 hours spent in front of the TV may be a critical part of the daily decompression that allows them to get a good night's sleep. Others may spend 2 to 3 hours at the gym each day, and while that may seem excessive to most, it may be essential in maintaining their physical and mental well-being. While most of us can easily cut down in these types of discretionary activities, for some, these may be critical activities in their daily schedule that cannot be cut. Regardless of how you categorize your activities, there are a number of ways to find extra time throughout the day. It's all about being more efficient and maximizing your activities. One of the best ways for people to find extra time is by creating a schedule that manages their time throughout the week. Many people tend to create schedules at work to help organize their time and accomplish tasks, but this practice stops once they walk out of the office. Creating a weekly schedule allows you to plan your week out. It allows you to see what activities you have planned and whether or not you are making the best use of your time. Are you scheduling activities that serve no purpose and do not support accomplishing your goals? On an earlier podcast, we spoke about analyzing return on investments, or ROI, that you get on training. But this can be done for any activity. Do you find yourself signing up for all of the meetups that come across your desk? If you are going to these meetups just to show your face, you need to ask yourself, what is the ROI I expect to get from this meeting, and whether or not there is something more productive I could be doing with my time. Instead of scheduling to attend a meetup, why not schedule time to work on your side hustle or take training and learn a new skill that can help bring in some side income? Another great way to find extra time is by getting organized and prioritizing tasks to accomplish throughout the week. While this works great for those who love using schedules, it's also a great method for those who don't. Although I will try to maintain a schedule, it seems like everything I plan gets overcome by events. As such, instead of planning out my week and using a rigid schedule, I create a prioritized list of tasks that I either need to or want to accomplish in a given week. I will write this list down somewhere so I can constantly be looking at it. Whether it's a whiteboard on my desk or update it each morning so it's the first blank page in my notebook, it is used as a constant reminder that I have more important things to do than to watch TV or play video games. By including a deadline for each task, I am able to prioritize my time to ensure I accomplish everything I need. Another method to finding and creating more time is by looking for efficiencies in your schedule or in your daily routine. I spoke earlier about how the course I am taking had us analyze our daily schedule by calculating the total number of hours we are awake and then assigning these hours to specific activities. I highlighted that assuming a normal workday of 8 hours, I am left with almost 12 hours of quote-unquote day to work with. But what about commute time, which can easily account for 1 to 2 hours each day? My response? What about it? Just because you are commuting to and from work doesn't mean that is wasted time. Instead of listening to music, why not listen to an ebook on financial literacy, investing, or something else that can help obtain your goals? Likewise, most people will typically block off 2 to 3 hours a day to account for meals and cooking time. However, why don't you plan and cook 2 meals at one time? This can easily save you an average of 3 to 4 hours a week. My daughter loves to eat waffles in the morning before school. Instead of preparing and making waffles each day, I only make one big batch during the weekend and freeze them for use throughout the rest of the week. This process only takes an additional 10, maybe 15 minutes as compared to making a single batch, but can easily save over an hour each week. This might not sound like much, but that is 20 minutes every morning that I can spend organizing myself for the day, allowing me to be more productive at work. If you do this for lunch and dinner as well, there's another 30 minutes to an hour every day saved. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of time that can be spent doing something to help you obtain your financial freedom. At the end of the day, we all have the same 24 hours to work with, but it is how we utilize those hours that separate us. Have you ever taken a step back to analyze how you spend your time? How much time is wasted or lost on a daily or weekly basis due to your chosen activities? I'm not saying that every activity you plan has to support obtaining your goals, but there should be some thought and consideration spent on determining what goes on your schedule. Just like developing a budget, we have a fixed amount of hours that can be spent each day. We can either live paycheck to paycheck / day to day, or we can spend our time wiser now in order to gain more free time in the future to spend doing the things we want to and enjoy. Are you wanting to start your journey towards financial freedom, but feel like you just don't have the time to do it? Are you trying to organize your day so you can spend more time focusing on becoming financially free, but don't know where to start? Well, you're in luck, as Wolfpack is here to help. We've successfully integrated these strategies into our own lives, each time identifying new opportunities that allows us to reallocate hours each day to pursuing our financial goals. And we're excited to share these valuable insights with you. Remember, it's never too late to commence your journey. The key is to take action now and establish a support network to help hold yourself accountable. Whether it's with the help of Wolfpack or through your own network, I encourage you to stop wasting time and start maximizing the time you have. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode, and I hope you got something out of it. If you enjoyed the episode, leave a comment. If there's a financial freedom topic that you want to hear more about, let us know. As always, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. And until next time, have a great week ahead.